The city of Ravenmoor was a place that never truly slept. Its streets shimmered with the wet glow of street lamps after rain, and the fog that rolled in from the river carried secrets best left undisturbed. People moved quickly past dark alleyways and shuttered windows, never noticing the shadows that moved behind them, watching, waiting. It was a city built on whispered promises and hidden sins, and at the heart of it lived a darkness that few dared to acknowledge. Evelyn March had always felt it. She felt it in the cold brush of the wind against her skin, in the inexplicable chill that followed her even on the warmest nights. Her apartment overlooked the old cemetery at the edge of the city, the wrought iron gates twisted with age, the tombstones like teeth of some sleeping beast. She told herself it was imagination, the romanticism of her lonely life, but deep down she knew the truth. Ravenmoor had eyes, and they were hungry. Evelyn worked at the antiquarian bookstore on Ashford Street. The store was dim, smelling of old paper and dust, a place where the city's forgotten stories gathered. Most nights, she stayed late, cataloging books with titles no one had read in decades. That night, as rain pelted the windows in relentless rhythm, she discovered a leather-bound journal wedged behind a stack of folios. The cover was embossed with a symbol she didn't recognize, a sigil like a crescent moon entwined with thorns. Her fingers trembled as she opened it. The first page was blank, the second, too. On the third page, words had appeared as though written by some unseen hand. "I see you, Evelyn." Her breath caught. She looked over her shoulder. The store was empty. The shadows from the shelves stretched long and black across the floor. She laughed nervously, telling herself it was her imagination, that the journal was some gimmick left by a previous owner. But as she tried to close it, the pages rustled of their own accord, flipping to another entry. "Do not be afraid. You have been chosen." That night, she couldn't sleep. Her apartment felt too small, too fragile against the city's pulse. She stared out the window at the cemetery, the gravestones silhouetted against the fog, and wondered what kind of being could reach into a journal and leave a message meant only for her. The answer came in a knock at her door just past midnight, heavy, deliberate, echoing through the quiet hallway. Evelyn froze, the journal still clutched in her hands. She opened the door a crack. He was tall, impossibly so, with pale skin that seemed almost luminescent in the hallway light. His eyes were the color of molten amber, deep and ancient, and when they fixed on her, she felt the weight of centuries pressing down. His clothes were timeless, long coat, high collar, a scarf loosely wrapped around his neck. "Evelyn March," he said, voice smooth, like silk sliding over glass. "I've been looking for you." She wanted to close the door, to scream, to run, but her body betrayed her, rooted in place. There was a magnetism in his presence, a dark pull that made her pulse thunder. Who are you?" she managed. "I am Lucien," he replied, stepping into the doorway. "And I am what you were always meant to see." The words chilled her. She didn't know why, but they felt true. Lucien explained that he was one of the old ones, a vampire not of the bloodless myths, but of reality, older than the oldest buildings of Ravenmoor. He spoke of the night she was born, under a blood moon, destined to awaken something dormant within her. Something that would bridge the fragile line between human and immortal. Evelyn's head spun. Her life, dull and ordinary, suddenly seemed like a prelude to some hidden existence. Lucien told her that there were others like him, scattered across the world, guardians and predators, some of them both, some only hunters. And now she had been noticed. She had been chosen. Over the coming weeks, Lucien visited her nightly, teaching her to understand the shadows, to hear the whispers of the city that humans ignored. He taught her the rules. The predator always hides. The prey rarely notices until it is too late. He revealed to her the taste of the night, the smell of fear, the pulse of life that ran stronger under the moon's cold gaze. Evelyn began to feel herself change. The world sharpened around her. Sounds became layers of meaning. Movement in the dark spoke like language. Hunger stirred deep inside her chest, not for food, not at first, but for the awareness of life itself, a craving for the vitality she had never noticed in the human world. Then, one night, they were not alone. A creature came from the other side of the city, drawn by the same call that had brought Lucien to her. But this one was older, crueler, its aura radiating death. Evelyn watched as it prowled along the rooftops, observing her apartment with lethal intent. Lucien's eyes darkened. "They know," he said, voice low. "They have always known, and now they will come." The city itself seemed to hold its breath. Evelyn could feel the predator's eyes piercing the fog, sensing her presence, calculating, waiting for her weakness. And for the first time, she felt the true fear of mortality. Lucien guided her to the rooftops. The rain-slick tiles were treacherous, but she followed him with an instinct she didn't recognize as her own. From above, the city sprawled like a black sea, mist curling around chimneys, and the creature's shadow moved with predatory precision. "You have to embrace it," Lucien said, his hand brushing against hers. "The hunger, the fear, the power. It is part of you now. You cannot fight what you are becoming." She nodded, unsure whether it was fear or desire that made her heart race. The creature launched from the next rooftop, and they met it in a blur of motion, moving faster than the human eye could track. Lucien's fangs glinted as he struck first, precise and lethal, while Evelyn felt a strange clarity as her senses responded to danger, to life and death entwined. After the confrontation, they landed on a quiet rooftop, rain dripping down their faces. Lucien looked at her, a mixture of pride and something darker in his eyes. "You are ready," he said. "Ready." The words settled in her chest like a seed. Ready for what? For the truth of the night? For the predators that moved unseen? Or for the hunger that now beat alongside her own heartbeat? Over the coming months, Evelyn walked Ravenmoor differently. The fog, the shadows, the quiet alleyways, they were no longer frightening, but alive, brimming with opportunity and danger. She began to understand the unspoken laws of the night. Predators and prey were not always what they seemed. Sometimes the hunted carried the strength of the hunter within them. She learned patience, observation, and restraint. She learned to move without being seen, to hear the smallest tremor of fear or excitement in the city. And always, Lucien was there. Teacher, companion, shadow, and temptation. Then came the night when the Council of the Ancient Ones summoned her. They were creatures older than cities, whose existence was entwined with human history itself. They observed her carefully, evaluating whether she could walk among them, whether she could carry the duality of human empathy and vampire instinct without losing herself entirely. Evelyn stood before them, the rain-slicked streets below reflecting the pale moonlight, and for the first time, she understood fully what Lucien had meant. She was chosen, yes, but not merely for survival. She was chosen to become a guardian of the balance, a bridge between the living and the eternal night. The first full moon of her new life rose over Ravenmoor, casting its silver light across the rooftops. Evelyn felt it call to her, the city whispering its secrets through the mist, and she stepped into the streets with new eyes, attuned to the pulse of the city's hidden life. And somewhere, in the shadows where the city never dared to look, eyes watched her. Not all of them friendly, but Evelyn did not falter. She had embraced the night, and in that embrace, she had become unstoppable. Ravenmoor had always been a city of secrets. Now, one of its most dangerous truths walked openly among its unsuspecting citizens. A predator with the wisdom of humanity still in her veins, and the hunger of the eternal night coursing through her heart. And as the fog curled and the rain fell silently upon the cobblestones, Evelyn knew that the night had only just begun.